It all started with a simple Instagram story. A solid black background, dotted only with small white lettering, almost invisible to the ordinary eye if not read carefully. But the content of the message split the fandom world in two, between the one that shed tears from being moved and the one that choked from fear of loss. I'm thinking about a new direction in my life. Not an impulsive decision, but it's something I've kept for a long time. Just so, and the world collapsed in silence. Within seconds, hashtags Taehyung decision, Arabaruvi, and Taehyung dominated trending topics around the world. The army did not wait for clarification from the agency, did not wait for the mainstream media to compile an often confusing narrative. They knew, from the way Taehyung composed his words, from the rhythm of his long silence in the past few months, that this was no ordinary afterthought. This is a turning point moment. For many, it can be difficult to understand why a superstar of Class V, at the peak of such a career, fame and public love, could choose to step off the path that has raised his name. But for those who have followed every glance of his eyes on stage, listened to every breath he takes in his songs, and captured the sadness hidden behind a smile that always looks perfect, this decision feels like a fate that came too late. Kim Taehyung, since debuting with BTS, has always been an enigma in the light. He is an artist with an old soul, a dreamer who cannot be limited by rigid industrial structures. He enjoys art, music, classical film, photography, and the silence of the night more than the cheers of the boisterous stadium crowd. He wrote poetry on the sidelines of a busy schedule and took pictures of ordinary life with extraordinary beauty. All this time, is a signal that he has a world of his own, a world that may not be completely divided by 7 concert stages every month. Those who truly love him know that this is coming. But still, when the moment really came, it felt like a loss of direction in the middle of a vast ocean. 17 minutes ago, it only took him one sentence to overhaul the world he had built over the years. One sentence to show that human beings change, that even dreams can evolve. And perhaps, Taehyung's new direction in life isn't about leaving, but about coming back to himself. Fans flooded social media with speculation. There are those who believe that Taehyung will completely switch to the art world, perhaps settling in Paris or Florence, 2 cities he has always referred to in interviews as his dream places. There are also those who suspect that he will open a photo gallery, or even publish a book of poems and short stories. Some even hope, with tears in their eyes, that this is just a metaphor for a new phase in music, not a departure from the entertainment world altogether. However, as usual, Taehyung let it all hang. It gives no additional clarity. It leaves the world guessing, perhaps because it knows, in uncertainty, there is freedom. That's the freedom he's been looking for. In an old interview that has now gone viral, Taehyung once said, "I want to live honestly. If one day I can't sing because my heart doesn't want to, I'll stop. Because I don't want to stand on stage and lie through a smile." The phrase, once considered the philosophy of a melancholic artist, now sounds like a script that he has written for a long time. For today, behind this decision, ARMY tried to embrace each other, strengthen each other, collect pieces of memories, and pray in silence. They knew that loving Taehyung meant understanding that he never belonged to the world. It belongs to himself. And to love him is to learn to let go, without having to stop loving. HYBE has not yet given an official statement. Several media outlets have tried to contact inside sources, but all declined to comment. Some even looked confused, as if they had no idea about the sudden upload. This further reinforces the assumption that this decision is not a promotional strategy or a media gimmick. It is the inner voice of a human named Kim Taehyung. And if we know Taehyung well, we know that when he follows his inner voice, he will go far. Not to leave anyone out, but to find something greater than popularity and sales figures. Meaning. Do you want me to continue right now? Or do you want to divide it into several parts according to your convenience? In that deep calm. Some fans recalled how Taehyung once talked about the noise of the world in a live broadcast as he sat alone in his hotel room, illuminated only by a small lamp on a corner table. "Sometimes, I just want to disappear for a while," he said, with a low voice and eyes staring blankly out the window. "It's not because I'm unhappy, but because too many voices came into my head, and I lost my original voice." Now that phrase rings again, haunting his fans like a long-delayed nightmare. In his private space, perhaps few people really knew what Taehyung was thinking. Friends of one group, the other BTS members, until now no one has responded. Jungkook, who has been known to have a very close bond with Taehyung, has not even been seen active on social media since the post appeared. Many in the army thought that if anyone knew of this decision before it was announced, it must have been Jungkook, and it could be that's the reason for his silence. because maybe he is still trying to understand or even calm a broken heart. As he once said in their group documentary, Taehyung is someone you can see laughing really hard, but when he's quiet, you know his world is collapsing. And today, we all witnessed the silence of Taehyung's world, who finally spoke through the life choices he revealed quietly. For ARMY, who has been following Taehyung's journey since his debut, it's not just about an idol who might choose a new path. It's about someone who grew up with him, who went through adolescence and adulthood together in every song, every concert, every little moment that was never taken for granted. Taehyung is a friend they keep from afar, someone they take pride in without ever really knowing him personally. But it was never a hindrance. Because their love is unconditional, when someone who means so much suddenly announces that he is looking for a new direction in life, it feels like losing direction anyway. But on the other hand, many of them felt proud because Taehyung finally chose himself. Some call it selfish. Some were cynical, accusing this of being a strategy to create hype amid the military silence he lived through. But to those who truly understand the figure of V, it sounds like an insult to the depths of his soul. Taehyung is not the kind of person who plays with his heart. And if he decides to write something as bold as this, then it is born of a mature consciousness and perhaps a deep wound. Some people started digging through archives of interviews, video clips, to lyric verses from Taehyung's solo songs that felt different. From Winter Bear, Blue and Gray, to Love Me Again from Layover, all feel like clues that have been missed. I want to sleep and not wake up, he wrote in Blue and Gray, which at that time was called a reflection of mental fatigue. Now, everything feels like a silent script that slowly finds a conclusion, but not all responses come with sadness. Behind the grief and tears, many soldiers are determined to stay standing. They write open letters, share tribute videos, and put together a collage of memories to show that no matter what Taehyung chooses, their love will not change. They understand, true love is not about belonging, but about supporting from afar. Even when the direction taken is different from expectations, this evening, thousands of fans lit candles simultaneously in different cities, from Seoul, Tokyo, Jakarta to Los Angeles. They stood in the garden, by the river, on the balcony of each other's houses, and looked up at the sky while saying Taehyung's name. "Wherever you step, we'll be there," one fan wrote on social media, and the tweet was liked more than 2 million times in just 1 hour. Meanwhile, critics began to speculate that this was the moment that would change the face of K-pop forever. An artist as big as Taehyung, who chose a new path in this honest way, could have opened the door for many other artists who had been feeling constrained. Perhaps, this is the beginning of a new era, one in which artists are given room to breathe, to be human, not just a printing press. But the question remains, where will Taehyung step?